Hey, Grimmy here, and today we're going to be doing a showcase of Giblet at 14 stars. And before you get a bit confused and wonder what's going on, why is my Giblet not even at max level, it's because we're going to be taking him into training battle so that we can see him at 14 stars right away. With this team I'm running, he's going to be double Zenkai buffed by both the Super Saiyan and Super Saiyan 3 Goku, and he's going to be getting some HP from Shallot. I'm using Ultra Gohan in the leader slot. I'm sorry, I know he's a rat, but he has armor break cards, he can counter, and he can help bolster a lot of the hits that Giblet may receive. Now, with Giblet's kit, he actually not only turns into the Dark Element through his main ability, but he also has a Disrupt effect. When his HP goes below 50%, he actually turns into Dark Element as well. I'm bringing along Vegito Blue because he's also going to be double Zenkai buffed. And essentially, I think, while he isn't like the best, he's definitely not the best in the current meta, he definitely has some stuff to offer, and I think he can put in some work when the situation does align, especially when he reduces Vanishing Gauge, and it can really create an opening for Giblet. For his equips, I'm obviously keeping it classic, it's nothing too crazy, just the usual Saiyan equips, as well as the defense type equip from Legends ranking. So let's not waste any more time and just get right into it. Alright, first match up against whatever this is supposed to be. Golden Frieza, Yajirobe, and Android 17 from basically a century ago. One of the first characters ever released in the game. I don't know why anyone would be bringing this character into the fight, but I'm starting off with Giblet. He's gonna be the one who, kicks off the match. And again, I'm not too concerned about him getting hit by Golden Frieza because not only do my opponent's characters not have any equipment, so they're probably not gonna do a ton of damage. On top of that, Giblet has the Disrupt, right? When his health goes below 50%, he turns into Dark Element and he gets Element Factor advantage over every single character on the enemy team. Check it out. Boom! With the heal as well, and it also destroys all enemy cards, which is why my opponent broke the combo there. Here you can actually get a kind of, decent demonstration as to... I didn't know you could actually see Yajirobe's underpants there, but this is actually a pretty decent demonstration of how you could, how much damage Giblet can do with his type advantage as a Dark Element character. Obviously, it's very biased in the sense that the enemy doesn't have any equipment, so whatever extra defense most people may have, we don't actually see any of it here, so Giblet can just go rampant and deal a brick ton of damage. Here you can actually see Giblet tanking the blue card from Golden Frieza, but again, the characters here are extremely weak. I think this serves as a pretty good demonstration of just how strong Giblet can be, but just how much we're actually not seeing out of the character if you just take a look at the Element Factor advantage. The main ability is amazing, it helps maintain the Dark Element, and it draws a full hand of cards, with a chance of it being a blue card. Most of Giblet's damage is actually placed on the blue card, so that's what you're going to be banking on. A lot of times, when you deal damage against characters, you want to use the blue, it does the most, and there we actually popped Frieza's comeback, but again, this Golden Frieza is significantly weaker than what you normally see in regular day-to-day PvP. I switch into Vegito Blue to clean things up, because Golden Frieza's Vanishing Gauge would be reduced to 0% thanks to Vegito entering the battlefield, and I switched to Gohan just to get a lot more cards and a bit more security in my hand just to get things done properly. But yeah, that was the first match. I don't think it was a very solid demonstration of just what Giblet can do, but on to this second match up against a Game Originals team. Very interesting take. It's the Saiyan twins, both Shallot and Giblet. It'll be interesting to see how well this team can kind of work together. Also, just to mention, this video is pre-recorded. All the fights are replays of fights that I've done separately from when this audio is being recorded. It's more of a, kind of commentary over the match that's happening in the background, and it is kind of long-winded, so I'd recommend actually putting this in the background while you do something else. It really helps. It's it's not necessarily a white noise, but it helps get rid of emptiness and the lack of sound in a certain space. Anyways, the Saiyan in red that my enemy is using has just taken a massive amount of damage. Also, that healing is actually kind of crazy. I never bothered to notice. Actually kind of insane, wow. Gohan goes for the attacks there, and I switched to Giblet obviously because he's I can't say showcase for some reason. He's the showcase unit, he's the one that I'm trying to show off, and here, I'm also facing another Giblet, so obviously my opponent has the same idea as I do. My opponent pops the Disrupt, which is obviously very annoying, and switches to the Dark Element. So I would have had type disadvantage, so I used my main, popped it to get extra cards, nullify the effect of the Disrupt, as well as make even ground between my Giblet and my opponent's. Here's an interesting part, right? Giblet actually has type disadvantage against Shallot when he's a Dark Element. While his main ability effect is active, while his Disrupt effect is active, he actually has a disadvantage against Shallot. And I guess if Giblet was to ever be a truly meta unit, Shallot may actually be assisted into re-entering the meta, but obviously I don't really think that Giblet is that crazy at the moment. He's not showing things off too much, so I don't think we've really gotten the full extent of the character, but there, we actually managed to take him down with our own Giblet, which actually worked pretty well. My opponent's Shallot is actually Super Saiyan God. The selected transformation is Super Saiyan God, which is very interesting. It's not the first transformation that you think of when you think of Shallot. I think, personally, Super Saiyan 3, Super Saiyan 2, Super Saiyan Blue are much better transformation options for Shallot. They serve a much more clear and straightforward role when it comes to taking the enemy down, you know, as a damage dealer, as a supporter for other characters to also be strong. So very interesting for my opponent here to go for Super Saiyan God of all other forms. Go for the green card there, which gets me cards, key, extra damage. I haven't actually read Giblet's entire kit, so I don't know what some of his cards do. Namely the green card, I don't know what extra effects it has. I just assume that, you know, it has the regular effects that every other character's green card would have. Extra damage, extra key, and a card draw. That's already like the baseline standard for basically every character in the game. That's the minimum that you need to have to compete in the meta. And Giblet just showed off why not having permanent Dark Element can really be useful. In the third match here, we're going to go up against an actual meta team, and this is actually the final match. You can take a look at how long the video there is left, so it's going to be a long one. But my opponent has both of the fusing units as well as Super Saiyan God Goku. He's been a real pain in the butt, man. Super Saiyan God Goku has been unexpectedly annoying as a defensive character, and offensively too. You know, with like the knockback green card and everything, it's almost like Gohan, but just as annoying. My opponent switches to God Goku, obviously. He's really like, I think that's who my opponent is really maining and hoping to have as an anchor. There I back up because I knew the green card was coming. Typical knockback green card kind of player there. I was expecting a cover change from Goku, and that actually didn't happen. So I switched immediately to the Dark Element of Giblet through his main ability, just so that I can actually deal a ton of damage against him, like, you know, constantly, I guess. Having that continuous type advantage over every single character in the game, basically, apart from Shallot, of course, is super beneficial. It makes it really easy, but a lot of characters also nullify unfavorable element factors, and you really get to see that with characters like this Goku and Vegeta. Obviously, it's not really showing right now, but even now, this is a great demonstration to show why Giblet's tanking capabilities isn't the best. There you saw how much damage he took from both Goku and Vegeta, and he's already on his last legs. Despite only taking basically one combo, which is a lot less than what you'd normally expect from the average sparking in the current meta. My opponent, I think, is about to go for the ultimate, if I remember correctly. Green card first, actually, which makes sense, it makes a lot more sense there. But interestingly enough, goes for the strike, and obviously, I don't believe God Goku has card destruction immunity, and so I'm pretty sure the ult got destroyed there, which is good for me and unfortunate for my opponent. Giblet's still having that Dark Element active. It is an advantage for him, in the sense that he can deal damage, or element factor advantage damage against everyone. Go for the blue card, go for the Tap Blast to bait the Vanish, and go for the Rush immediately. Perfect play right there. I was patting myself on the back over a play like that. It's very vicious, very aggressive, and it ended up paying off because this team obviously doesn't have Super Vegito, so a Rising Rush can still get guessed. Fortunately, I still landed it anyways. So ultimately the match did go in my favor, but Giblet's HP is basically 0. He's at the brink of defeat there. Land the perfect Vanish, but God Goku, again, super annoying defensive unit based on my experience thus far. He's just very defensively powerful. He can tank a lot of the hits and survive so many combos, man. Really annoying. And he works together with combo compensation so well. When the combos get really long, we deal less damage and Goku takes less as well. And there's the other annoying part, you know, the green card, the ranged green card nullification. Pop the endurance with the blue card there. I'm really hoping for my opponent to do something so I can punish with the ultimate like I did just there. And yeah, I land the kill on God Goku. So this match is basically in the bag. Obviously, Giblet doesn't have an LF, so there's really nothing to look forward here. I do want to finish it off with Giblet, though. I want to see what he can do. But the annoying part is that even if I burn down this Goku and Vegeta's HP to 0, my opponent can just pop the Synchro Gauge and get a full HP bar. So here, I'm basically drawing everything I can, using every single option there. That combo drop was game-changing. It decided basically the outcome of the match, right? I'm currently desperate for cards, because if I drop, and you know, if I drop the combo once, and my opponent can take advantage of it, Synchro Gauge, full health, and I have to do this all over again against characters with, 2 characters actually, with type disadvantage against Super Vegito. Thankfully that didn't happen, and I actually managed to finish off the fight with Ultra Vegito Blue's ultimate. Still a pretty cool animation, and the only character with an arts action, but there you go. That was the match. I think Giblet did a pretty decent role, he did a pretty decent job and played a solid role overall in the battle. You really got to see just how much damage Giblet could do while his dark effect was active. Obviously, there were some kind of parts of the showcase that didn't really make a lot of sense, especially, you know, taking a look at how a lot of the characters there weren't necessarily meta or weren't set up properly, so you didn't really see them at their full capacity. It was really the last match there that kind of showed off what Giblet could do. He could do a ton of damage while his dark element is active, and even when it's off, he can still do damage against red units. Sorry, as a red unit, he can do more damage against yellow units. You really saw the power behind the blue card, and overall, I'd say Giblet is a pretty solid character. Has a unique ability that I'm hoping to to see more in the future, I guess. He's the only character, or standalone character, who's not a tag unit, who can switch elements. So I'm really hoping to see that more in the future, because it has potential, and it definitely adds a brand new dynamic into the day-to-day battles. Obviously, Giblet, you get Giblet for free at like 7 stars, and you have to build him up the rest on your own. And obviously, it's not going to be enough. Him at 7 stars is not going to be enough to compete with the current meta, let's be real here. But I do think that this mechanic being introduced in the game opens up the door to a lot of new things to look forward to in the future. What happens if there's like an LF or Ultra who can switch elements as well? It'll make things a lot more interesting. But at least that's what I think. Let me know in the comments down below what you think about this Giblet. What about his mechanics? Have you tested him out in PvP? What do you think about the character? You should also leave a comment if you have any kind of comment. If you have any kind of criticism or opinion that you'd like to share, I'm open to discussion, and honestly, I'll respond when I get the chance, almost always. Make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy the video, if you thought this was helpful. It shined a light on how you use Giblet, how to use him optimally on top of what kind of potential he has in the average PvP landscape. And don't forget to subscribe as well for future videos as I drop them, to make sure that you're notified. But yeah, I think that's gonna do it for this video. Bye, and thanks for watching.